Most of the time, runner advancement is very straightforward. For example, with a runner on first, let's say the batter singles on a medium grounder to the right fielder, advancing the runner from first to third. Since there's a ball in play, we select in play. Now we plot our hit location and enter the hit type and velocity. Let's say the hit location was right around here, and since we said it was a medium grounder, we make those choices for the velocity and the hit type. No shift was involved, and the runner wasn't moving, so all looks good, and we make our selection. Here, the batter reached base, so we hit on base. We established that the batter singled, so we make that selection in the drop-down under the batter. The default is to advance the runner the same number of bases as the batter, so that's why the software has the runner on first advancing to second. However, we said that the runner went first to third. This can be changed by clicking the drop-down underneath the runner and making the appropriate choice, advance to third. We're all set here now, so we hit next. Finally, we said that the right fielder fielded the hit, so we make that selection and hit next. There were no more events, so we can just hit enter to choose that, and we're done. Other times, runners will need to be advanced or called out manually. Most of the time, these plays will occur directly after a pitch is made. Any play that occurs simultaneously with a pitch is what we call a dependent event, because the event is reliant on the pitch being made. To enter a dependent event, the box in front of dependent event must be checked. You can do this either by clicking the box or by using the plus sign as a shortcut for this. Let's say there was a ball where there was a dependent event. We'll select dependent event and then choose ball taken. As you can see, a screen for pitch dependent events pops up. Most of these should be pretty self-explanatory. There are check boxes next to catcher block and runners in motion. This means that you can select one or both of these while also selecting one of the other options. If you only need to pick one of the options with the checkbox, make your selection and then click No More Events. For instance, if there's runners in motion but nothing else, you'd check the runners in motion box and then choose No More Events. This will often be the case when there's a foul with a runner going. Now, let's quickly go over all of these options. Wild pitch gets used when there's a wild pitch charged to the pitcher, while passed ball is used when the catcher gets a passed ball. This includes drop third strikes that result in a wild pitch or passed ball. Stolen base attempt is used whenever a runner tries to steal a base. Drop third strike gets selected when there's a dropped third strike that is neither a wild pitch or passed ball. Most of the time, this will be when the catcher recovers in time to throw the batter out at first, but it will also be used when there is an error that allows the batter to reach, or if the batter reaches on a fielder's choice because the catcher makes a play on another runner. Pickoff attempt catcher is used when the catcher tries to pick off a runner, which always happens directly after a pitch. A base runner out occurs when a runner is out on the bases right after a pitch but is not charged with a caught stealing. This usually happens when there's a ball in the dirt that a runner tries to advance on, but the catcher recovers quickly and throws him out. Defensive indifference is used when a runner moves up on a pitch, but the official scorer doesn't credit a stolen base because the defense wasn't paying attention to him. This normally happens in the late innings of a multi-run game. No More Events gets used if at least one of the checkboxes is selected, but nothing else applies. Note that drop third strike is inactive right now. The reason for that is because this option can only be possible if the pitch that was the dependent event is also the third strike. Likewise, when the bases are empty, you will not be able to choose any of the options relating to runners advancing or being out, since there are no runners on the bases. If stolen base attempt is selected, you will have an intermediate screen come up before you position the runners. Let's see what happens. We select stolen base attempt. Notice that the runners in motion box is automatically checked since a runner has to be moving to attempt to steal. Now let's hit next to proceed. Here we get a screen asking us which runner attempted the stolen base since there are multiple runners on. If only one runner is on, you will not see this screen. If both runners successfully stole, you'd select double steal. If only the runner on third attempted to steal, you'd click his name, Chavez in this case. Likewise, if only the runner on first attempted to steal, you'd click his name, Mayberry. We'll look at what happens if only one runner attempts to steal and if there's a double steal. Let's say Mayberry, the runner on first, stole second, while the runner on third stays put. First, click the name of the runner on first, Mayberry. Now we get a screen where we have to indicate what the result of the stolen base attempt was. Stolen base and caught stealing should be self-explanatory, while caught stealing plus error gets used if the runner is charged with the caught stealing but isn't out because of an error that was committed. Here we said Mayberry stole second, so we choose stolen base and hit next. Now we get the runner advancement screen. First, note that the advance type is set to be stolen base and cannot be changed. Second, the runner on first is already advanced to second since we indicated that he gets a stolen base. This shouldn't be changed. Now we do have to indicate what happened to the runner on third. In his drop-down, select that he stays on third. Everything's all set now, so we hit next. There are no more events, so just hit enter to choose that, and we're done. I've now reset things to show what happens in the event of a double steal. When there's a double steal, just hit the double steal button. You now skip ahead to the final confirmation screen, as the software will advance both runners one base automatically. We select no more events, and we're finished. There will be times when something happens to a runner without a pitch being thrown. The majority of the time, this will be a pickoff attempt by the pitcher. To indicate something happening to the runner without a pitch being thrown, click on the square by the base the runner is occupying. The name of the runner appears, and if you move the cursor slightly to the right so that the runner's name is highlighted, there are four options: stolen base attempt, pickoff attempt pitcher, balk, and defensive indifference. Only use stolen base attempt or defensive indifference here if the advance attempt came without a pitch or pickoff attempt being made. Let me repeat that because it is important. Only use stolen base attempt or defensive indifference here if the advance attempt came without a pitch or pickoff attempt. All attempts to advance on a pitch must be entered as a dependent event. Let's say there was a pickoff attempt by the pitcher. Click on the square by the runner and highlight his name. Now choose Pickoff Attempt Pitcher. There are 7 options: back safely, picked off, caught stealing, stolen base, picked off with error, caught stealing with error, and advance on error. Picked off and caught stealing are used when the pickoff attempt results in a pickoff or caught stealing, respectively. Stolen base occurs when the runner breaks for the next base on the pickoff attempt, safely reaches that base, and is credited with a stolen base by the official scorer. Picked off with error is when a runner is safe either at his original base or a subsequent base, but the official scorer credits the pitcher with a pickoff because the runner would have been picked off if not for an error by a fielder. Similarly, caught stealing with error is used in the same situation as picked off with error, except that now the official scorer has called the play a caught stealing as opposed to a pick-off. Advance on error is used when the runner advances on an error during a play involving a pick-off attempt, normally because the pitcher's pick-off attempt was wild. The vast majority of the time when there is a pick-off attempt, the runner is just going to get back to his original base. When this occurs, we select back safely. Conveniently, back safely is the default here, so back safely will be selected if you just hit enter on this screen. Lastly, you get the final confirmation screen. Normally, there are no more events, and if that's the case, just hit enter. This is nice because if you have a routine pickoff attempt where the runner gets back safely, you can just hit enter twice after selecting pickoff attempt pitcher to enter the play. I will demonstrate this now. The second most common option you'll use by clicking on the runner is balk. If this occurs, just click on the runner and select balk. There is no need to enter a pickoff attempt here, even if one occurred directly before the balk, as the balk nullifies that action.